Hi, my name is Michael Harden, and today we're going to be talking about NBA TV ratings and the truth behind the story. So it seems odd that anyone would be interested in the NBA's television ratings, outside of those whose job and livelihood depends on it, of course. Yet we've seen public figures such as Donald Trump weigh in heavily on this topic. Now, there are many claims about what these ratings are, what they imply, and how they spell doom for the NBA. With so many polarizing voices speaking on the topic, I want to use this time to share some information about the ratings themselves, describe some of the implications of them, and debunk some common misconceptions surrounding this issue. Now, this topic has recently become very public, but as a diehard NBA fan, and there's plenty like me, we are just as interested in the business aspect as we are the on-court action. So I've been invested in these storylines for quite some time. And when you are, you start to notice some faults in some of the claims that you continually hear year over year. With that being said, through my research, I have been able to see clearly some of the factors and intentions behind these, and it's made it easier to understand what these ratings actually represent. And this sense of clarity is what I want to give to you through this speech by demonstrating the most relevant data, debunking common misconceptions, and combining statistics and reasoning to reach the most likely conclusion to this problem. So let's start by talking a little bit about the statistics. The NBA Conference Finals is the second highest TV rated event the NBA puts on every year, right behind the finals, but that hasn't happened this year. Yet this has been steadily declining since 1995. Over 30 million people tuned in to the 1995 NBA Conference Finals. Fast forward to 22, and that number is all the way down below 10 million. Now, this decline in ratings can also be seen in the regular season viewership. Referring back to Sports Media Watch, we can see that the average household viewership is dropping at a very similar rate to that we saw in the conference finals, from over 5 million in 1995 to just under 2 million now. So there's no doubt about whether or not this ratings decline exists, but what's causing less people to tune into the NBA on television? Well, President Donald Trump weighed in on Twitter to give us his thoughts. People are tired of watching the highly political NBA. Basketball ratings are way down, and they won't be coming back. Trump tweets this in the midst of the peak of the Black Lives Matter movement in the NBA. And let's talk a little bit about that movement. Basically, the players were doing peaceful protests through wearing shirts, speaking in interviews, and kneeling during the anthem. And this led to people like Donald Trump and people like Texas Senator Ted Cruz to blame the decline in ratings at the time on these protests. Now, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver had something to say about this topic in his interview with ESPN. Now, some people might suggest that the words Black Lives Matter are causing massive amounts of people to tune out of the NBA. There is absolutely no data to support that. And he's right. But these supposed declines happen over such a short time period that it's hard to use any data analysis to reasonably track them. But if we use a little bit of reasoning and think, the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar business concerned with selling their product. If these protests were truly hindering their product sales that badly, they assuredly would have shut them down, as they have in the past many times. Now, Silver attributes most of these dips to the pandemic itself, which was conveniently overlooked by arguments from the other side. Finally, let's talk more about the pandemic and how it affected these ratings, and then some other modern technological factors that might be responsible. In October 2020, the Washington Post reported, several factors are fueling the drop. According to viewership data and interviews with TV executives and industry observers, the intensity of the political news cycle, glut of sports on TV, and viewers' lives being upended by the pandemic. And if you look at the chart I put in the PowerPoint, you can see that almost every professional sports league experienced these ratings decline over this time. And for the NBA specifically, They had to move all their players to Miami. They had no fans in attendance. And also star players were out left and right from the illness. So it'd be unreasonable to believe that this wouldn't have a massive effect on ratings. However, the ratings were declining prior, so we can't blame it entirely on COVID-19. Modern technology is also playing a huge role in this rating shift. ESPN reports, the NBA is the most followed pro sports account and the 9th most followed brand account. They're speaking, of course, on social media. And this could be a reason for a lot less TV viewership because there are new modes of viewing the NBA that didn't exist back in 1995 or 2005 or even 2010. Through YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the sport can be consumed in a lot of different ways, so it would make sense that less people would tune in via television. So we're approaching the end of this speech, but I have a few more words I want to say. With so many conflicting narratives, I hope I was able to provide some clarity on this topic for you. I hope that knowing the most relevant data, understanding different viewpoints, and discussing some of the modern factors involved with this issue has made it more clear to you and more easy to understand the topic. And even if you're not interested in this topic in any way, I think it provides a good lesson for us. If we listen only to who is talking the loudest or who has the most followers, we can easily be misled. But if we take the time to do some research, use some reasoning, and think for ourselves, we can unveil the truth behind the story. Thank you.